Hey everybody, it's your boy, Nathan Crash.
And Chris,
We're back.
with another
Bodied by the Internet.
Bodied by the Internet.
And for those of you who don't know how Bodied by the Internet works, it's the internet's favorite show.
We find spooky stories,
Either on creepypasta websites or Reddit, and we read them. And
we read them, we rate them.
And then, yeah, we read them, we give our thoughts on them, then we give them a numerical rating. That's pretty much the general format. You're encouraged to do the same, so when we finish reading, when me and Chris read our stories, go ahead and leave your thoughts and your rating in for the stories in the comment section below. If you have any stories that you think, you know, we would enjoy or you would enjoy hearing us read, you can go ahead and link that in the comment section as well. That's about the general gist of it.
Alright, should I get started on this one?
Let's hop right in. What's the name of your story, buddy?
It's called The Ghost Haunting Me Was Afraid of Something by user Devil Juice on No Sleep. What?
I really have a bad feeling about this.
Alright, well,
Alright, no,
Here we go.
I'm gonna reserve my judgment.
here we go. I never expected to be haunted. I suppose no one ever does, really. I just always figured that if something like this were to happen to me, I'd at least have some kind of idea, like some sort of red flag, like moving into a really old house, disturbing a burial ground, someone cursing me with their dying breath. I didn't get anything like that. I mean, I did move into a new place, sure, but it wasn't old, or even a house for that matter. I moved into a new apartment in the city. The building itself had only been finished a month prior. Nobody has ever lived in the apartment before me, and I was one of the first people in the whole building for that matter. How could I ever expected a place like that to be haunted? For the record, no, this is not just a case of the new place jitters. Neither is it I've got a bad feeling or a stuff moving on its own kind of thing. It's an actual full-on visible ghost, a spirit, or whatever you want to call it. And I saw it the first time I stepped through my front door. It was move-in day, and I'd done an apartment viewing before moving in, of course, but not the actual apartment I'd be living in. I suppose that could have come off as suspicious, especially now with what I know about the place. However, I just figured the building manager didn't want to have to go all the way up to the 10th floor. The floor plan of the one I viewed was exactly the same anyway, so I didn't bother making a fuss. So there I was, carrying my first box into the new place, and the first thing I see after opening my door into the dim, unlit apartment is a shadowy figure huddling in the corner. My first thought is that it was a burglar, but why break into an empty apartment? I hesitantly flicked on the light switch and saw it was a little girl, maybe around 10 years old, crouched and shaking in a corner. I was confused for a moment, but then I noticed her clothes. A t-shirt and some jeans, a normal sort of outfit for a young girl, but terribly dirty and torn.
I was just wearing Zupas.
Yeah. I figured that she must have been homeless, squatting in an empty apartment to get out of the cold of the coming winter. I was perplexed as to how she managed to sneak past security, but ultimately just shrugged it off. I approached her, still cowering in the corner. She was shaking like a leaf in apparent fear, her arms wrapped around her head. I felt awful for her, and looking at how skinny and malnourished she seemed, I figured I could get her a meal or something before I called CPS. I reached out to her quivering shoulder, planning on giving it a gentle shake and letting her know I wasn't upset or going to hurt her. When I touched her shoulder, though, I immediately recoiled, surprised at how cold she was. It was like touching a block of dry ice, so cold it burned. She stopped trembling at my touch and began to turn ever so slowly to face me, almost like she was afraid to look. When our gazes met, though, we both screamed. First her, then me shortly after. Her eyes had been clawed out, roughly as if by an animal. The girl ran off farther into the apartment. I quickly went the other way, rushing back out the front door and slamming it behind me. I immediately called the building manager, telling him that there was a strange little girl in my apartment. I didn't tell him about the eyes, though, worried that he might think I was crazy and ignore me if I did. Besides, it wasn't like he could see for himself when he came up. However, when he got there, we searched the place top to bottom, and we couldn't manage to find her. My building manager decided that she must have slipped out. I reluctantly agreed, doubting that she was able to be that sneaky with eyes like that. I hadn't exactly considered the possibility of her being a ghost yet, though the thought did occur to me. The idea of it seemed silly at first. However, when I turned away from the front door, just after saying goodbye to my building manager, I found her cowering in the corner once more, and I quickly changed my mind. I was scared of her at first. I mean, who wouldn't be? She was an actual ghost. However, it's sort of hard to stay scared of a ghost who seems so scared herself. And when I say scared, I mean absolutely terrified, literally all the time. Other than the corner where I saw her the first time, she has a couple other hiding spots throughout the apartment where she'll randomly appear. Under the shelves in the pantry, behind the shower curtain in the hall closet. She even started hiding under the bed after I finally got the frame set up. That time was a special sort of surprise as she started screaming as soon as I laid down. I considered moving away at first, but ultimately decided not to. Other than startling me every now and then, she seemed absolutely harmless. Unless I tried to get her attention or disturb her in some way, she wouldn't do anything but sit there and tremble. It didn't really seem like something worth breaking my lease over, you know? It's a really nice apartment too, and I would have hated to lose it.
Yeah, except for the fact that there's a fucking ghost.
Yeah.
A freaking ghost!
A freaking
ghost! Ah! Idiot!
I spent some time trying to figure out where she came from. I felt really bad for her. She was so young.
Vancouver.
And yeah, probably.
She's scared. She's probably from France.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean.
French people are scared of everything. Like winning.
And those wounds to her eyes. Her death couldn't have been an easy one. I thought that if I knew more about her, maybe I would be able to help her. Plus, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little worried about why she was scared all the time. In spite of my efforts, though, I couldn't seem to find any sort of information on her in the slightest. It was a bit odd, seeing as you'd think a death like hers would somehow stand out. Perhaps her body was never found. It's hard to say. Either way, with nothing but dead ends to work with, I simply decided to just let it be. I've had worse living roommates, so I could learn to deal with the little inconveniences of living in a haunted apartment. I wouldn't have even bothered posting anything here if not for recent developments.
You missed. If not for ...
Recent developments. Now, I wish I'd moved out when I had the chance. A few days ago, a large section of that white popcorn ceiling stuff fell off, revealing what looked to be like an attic door. It was made of dark, heavy wood and had a tarnished brass ring for a handle. It makes no sense for it to be there, though, of course, considering the fact that I live in an apartment building with nothing above me but another apartment. I tried getting it to open, but it seemed to be locked or something. If there was a way of unlocking it, though, it must have been on the other side, seeing as I couldn't see any locking mechanism on my side. I tried to call the building manager about it, but he didn't answer the phone. I tried to go down and see him at the main office on the ground floor, but it was completely empty with no sign of anyone having been there for some time. I even tried knocking on the door to the apartment just above mine on the 11th floor. However, nobody ever answered the multiple times I tried, so I just assumed it was one of the unoccupied ones. This event started me thinking about all... That's weird. This event had me starting to think about all the other odd things I had noticed about the building. Things that I had brushed off before, but now seemed to be neon signs telling me something was up. You see, I shouldn't be the only one living here, yet I've never once ran into any of the other residents. It's not just that, though. Nobody I've mentioned my building to has ever even heard of the place. I was able to find public records on the building when I looked, but still. The city isn't exactly all that big, and new buildings are far from common. I talked to a lot of people at libraries and such when I was trying to find out information on the little girl, and none of them had heard about it. I initially wrote it off as an odd coincidence, but seriously, how could that be? Even in spite of this, I didn't feel like I needed to leave. Besides, with my building manager having seemingly vanished, it wasn't like I can get a hold of the paperwork to properly move anyway. It wasn't until today, though, that I realized since the attic door had appeared, I hadn't seen the ghost of the little girl even once. By then, though, it was far too late. This morning I woke to the sound of the attic door rattling like crazy, the sound of the brass handle smacking over and over again against the wood like a frantic victim trying to escape. I peeked out of my bedroom just once, but I didn't look long. The moment I stuck my head out the door, the shaking stopped and I heard the distinct sound of a latch being unlocked. I don't know why, but I immediately got the feeling I didn't want to see what was coming through. I slammed my bedroom door shut and locked it, hastily pushing a couple shelves in front of it as a makeshift barricade. I wish now that I made a break for the front door, but it's too late now either way. Who knows if I would have made it out anyway. I heard the attic door open shortly after I finished pushing the last shelf into place. Since then I've heard nothing. Not a single sound from either side, for either inside or outside the apartment. Not a car horn, a bird call, or even the sound of wind. Just nothing. It's been hours now, and I still can't hear anything but a completely dead silence. My bedroom doesn't even have a single window, so I have no way of checking what's going on outside. I've tried to call for help on my phone, but I can't seem to get a cell signal. Weirdly enough, I have Wi-Fi, but nobody has responded to my emails either. Not my friends or family members, my building manager, or anybody. It's funny, as I'm writing this, I just realized I have no idea what my building manager even looks like, even though I've seen him face to face and talked to him multiple times. Maybe he never even existed, who knows at this point. I think I'm probably going to try and make a break for it. I could try and wait whatever this is out, but I have no guarantee that this will ever end. When I think back on the gaunt figure of the ghost of that poor little girl, I find myself wondering how long she might have waited for. I want to give this a try before I lose any strength. At least I feel like I have a slightly better chance this way. I don't know if anyone will even read this. My other attempts at communication are... If my other attempts at communication are any indication, then probably not. However, if this somehow manages to actually get posted, can you please do me a favor? If somebody on here ever happens to post about their apartment being haunted by the ghost of a woman with her eyes scratched out, please tell them to get out while they can.
Damn! So that sort of went from like a 2 to like a solid 6.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 5.
Yeah. I thought that story was cheeks as fuck. I think a 5's fair, actually. I think I'll meet you there. I think I'll sit at like 5.
Because it wasn't a bad story. It was just
nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing super spooky happened.
Yeah.
Like
I think
the girl happened, but then like he immediately like was like,
well, she's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and then sort of described like moments where like he'd caught her in other places, and it seemed like like normalized.
Kooky.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that kooky little ghost girl with her eyes missing.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it got better when it kind of went all 1408 on everything.
On
so.
his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 5. I give it a 5.5. I give him the extra 0.5 just because I really thought like because if that story had kept on the way it was going, like up the introduction of the attic door, like was where it turned around for me. If it hadn't done that, well, the story would have been like a straight 2.
Yeah, I just wish we had explored like what the fuck like some of the stuff he was alluding to was going like.
Yeah.
We didn't really explore any of that.
Yeah, and like the biggest thing about it that kind of sucked was I don't know, they kind of did the I'm stuck in here. I don't know, it was just like lazy. That's like a real I think that was lazy. The way it ended was kind of lazy. Like, I'm trapped in here. I'm probably gonna make a break for it, because it doesn't. Because like at that point, he kind of gives up the responsibility of trying to describe what the hell's going on. So,
yeah.
It was kind of flat, but I thought it was, for the most part, it did a lot better towards the second half of the story. We did a lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I'll give him that. But that's gonna do it for this episode. Any comments on there?
Nothing interesting. Yeah, everyone's just telling them to run out of there.
Yeah. Just remember, this is for realistic horror stories.
Yeah.
Realistic. And they're all true, even if they're not.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This is real, dude.
Yeah.
So that dude's probably dead.
Maybe.
He's dead.
You think so?
His name is Devil Juice. He got turned into the devil's juice. He's dead.
He took a load of devil juice.
Just all over his face. But yeah, I mean, so that's a 5 from you and a 5.5 from me.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I've given one like a higher score than you.
Yeah.
So, making a change.
What do you mean?
I think I'm done being the Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
Probably not. I wouldn't doubt it. Look, all right. You guys are free to leave your comments in the comment section. We'll be back with another episode sooner rather than later. I think we're gonna kind of do it like this. We'll probably, if the story runs on long enough, we'll probably just cut it here and then do like a separate episode. So that's what we're gonna do. In the next episode, I will read a story, and that should be cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully, mine's better than yours, cause.
Yeah.
And if you don't want us reading ass stories, like, go ahead and leave stories.
Leave us
stories.
Yeah, leave us your favorite stories.
Yeah, because we haven't read that many. It's not like we're like, oh, we've read that one already. Like, send us a link.
Yeah.
And then like, if you guys want to check out like a really scary story, you guys can do. Here's an extra credit assignment that you can do to win brownie point to us. You can go to meatspin.com and you will read the scariest story, like, ever on that. Like, dude, that shit's so scary.
What are you talking about?
Meatspin.
Meat spin?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right, we'll cut the episode out in a little bit. We'll talk about this
All right.
later.
Okay. In
Yeah.
the meantime, like, comment,
Wait,
subscribe.
you have to be 18 or over to go to Meatspin though, because it's too scary for kids below that age. So I'm gonna like highly suggest that you do not do that unless you are like legally an adult, because at that point you're responsible for your actions, and if you die of a heart attack, it was of your volition, you know. So I don't want to be responsible for that. So if you're a kid, just like go fucking watch a Roblox video or something. Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Now I'm just curious what it is.
Look it up on your phone, like right now.
Right now?
Yeah, just put meatspin.com.
All right.
We're gonna have this on cam. All right. You know what Meatspin is, right?
I think it just clicked. I don't think I want it on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna back the fuck out of.
So you're okay. So now Chris finally. All right. But that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the channel. There's gonna be more videos coming.
I'm so glad I didn't hit search.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't.
I'm so glad I didn't hit search.
Dude,
Like, as I was typing it, like a fucking light went on in my head, and I was
I'm
like,
so proud of myself that
I
I
was
almost
like,
got you with that.
oh no.
Yeah,
I was like, oh no.
I can't believe I almost got you with that. Like, I was like, dude, you were around for that.
I don't think I was.
Really?
I swear I've never heard of that before.
Oh.
I don't remember us ever talking about it or anything.
That was like a fucking phenomenon. Everyone was like talking about Meatspin for a while.
Really?
Yeah, that was like a big thing.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
did I just completely miss that, I guess?
it was like the 2 Girls 1 Cup thing.
Oh, Jesus.
It was as popular as that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitch at Nathan. At twitch.tv/Nathan_Crash. You can follow me on Twitter and send me sick ass memes at ITS Nathan_Crash. And you know, have a wonderful day and all that bullshit, and try not to get bodied.
Try not to get bodied, especially by Meatspin.
Or by ghosts.
Or
Who
by-
tear your eyes out, I guess.
No, her eyes were torn out.
Yeah, but it's gonna tear his eyes out.
How do you know?
Turn off the campfire first. We don't need it anymore. We gotta stamp it out. Be cool about fire safety. Fuck you!